Happy Saturday. Hopefully you guys had a good Friday or a good week last week. I'm never on Saturdays really, every blue moon. So you guys got lucky today. So I just came in on to be able to talk to you guys for a little bit, of course, and show my face. So yeah, I just been chilling. I usually be outside, but it's rainy today, so it's kind of chilly. I went outside and it was like it had just started raining right before I went outside to record. So like I heard the rain right before I went out to record, and I was like, no. And so I was just going over my notes a little bit and then to see if it will stop, and it never did. So when I went outside, it was kind of chilly, so I just decided to just stay in the house and record today. So it's okay because I can go over my notes with you guys too anyway. So instead of trying to remember everything, sometimes it's hard for me to like remember everything when I don't have my notebook. And so it's kind of cool that I get to like go off my notes today a little bit. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, just focusing on myself and doing me like I usually do. It's so crazy how hard it was like for me to actually focus on myself. You know, I love like going back to what I was speaking on my previous video the other day regarding being single. You know, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's good to be in a relationship. Like, I think it's amazing to be in a relationship. But I think it's more amazing to be in a relationship with someone that you actually want to be in a relationship with, or someone that actually loves you, you know. I would want that versus being in a relationship that doesn't serve me right. And so that's kind of what I was speaking on the other day when I was speaking on relationships. So, I mean, it's funny because I realized like how much time I was like able to focus on myself later, you know. So I enjoyed being single for the time frame that I was, you know. But like now that I worked on myself for so long, because like I had time to, you know, if I was able to get in any relationship, I think I would be okay nowadays, but not before. You know. But that's why I think it's good to heal yourself and like heal all your past traumas and like your issues with your past relationships too, because it can have like an effect on your, if you do get into a new relationship, it can have an effect on that relationship to where you could bring all the negativity that or insecurities that you have from your previous relationship into your current relationship, right? And so that was like the main reason why like I decided to stay single after my split, you know, because I wasn't healed. I wasn't ready to jump into another relationship. And then I would have probably like would have thought that my new partner was doing the same thing that my old partner was, because I wasn't healed from the situation, if that makes sense. So that's why I decided to stay single for the time frame that I did, to kind of clear everything up and like so that way I could be free, right, and not be binded to my pain, you know. So by me doing that though, like as I mentioned before, like I was able to like get my body in shape and everything, and so like that made me even more excited. And I stopped smoking cigarettes and liquor, alcohol. Like I'll drink every now and then now, but like back in the day I just overdid it too much, and so like I cut that out back then when I started my journey in the beginning. And cigarettes. And it was like around the same time. So like in the beginning when I started working on my body and stuff, like it was hard for me to like be motivated to get up and everything, because even though I had stopped smoking like maybe a year prior, you know, it was still hard on me whenever I would walk on the trails and everything, especially when I was in Cali. Like it was really hard. In the beginning, like I had the kids with me, and we would walk the trails a lot, and like I was a little bit heavier back then too, but like I think my main concern was like my breathing. And so when we would walk, I would feel like my chest would be super heavy, or like, oh, it'll be hard for me to like, or I'll be coughing a lot. It just wasn't good, and like it was stressful. And then on top of that, it was hot out there. You know, I was just like, oh my god. And I thought I looked good back then. I really did. But now, like when I look back to my old videos, I'd be like, oh my god. I had a double chin, a triple chin, like, and everything. And, you know, but like the more that I worked on myself, you know, even though it was hard in the beginning as far as like my breathing and everything, I think my chest is trying to just clear out all the gunk from the cigarettes, you know, over the years. Even though it was like a year of me stopping, I still had the residuals, you know, in my chest. So like when I would go walk and go to the beach and everything, it would still be clearing up. So I'd be coughing and hacking all night, all kinds of stuff, right? But like, I say like, after I like made it a routine to continue to work out and kind of be more healthier as far as like my eating goes and everything, like it kind of cleared it up. And so now I don't cough at all, or like even when I go to the beach, I don't feel that gunk in my chest or in my throat or anything, because my throat used to be like, it would be like extremely scratchy when I would be at the beach, and or when I would get home from the beach, and I would cough all night. But the more that I went to the beach, the less I would cough. And so like over time, you know, of me improving my health, you know, I noticed I didn't cough anymore when I went to the beach. Or when I would walk, I wouldn't have that, like the mucus in my chest or anything like that. So like it was good for me to, you know, continue to push regardless of how hard it was in the beginning, because it was hard, you know. So I don't know, but I always feel like I get guidance like through life, you know. I feel like I always get guidance somehow from God. But I think like I really feel like I get my guidance through my dreams a lot of times. And like God will like show me certain things of like what's to come and what I need to be doing, like literally, like, and I know it's from God because I don't have them all the time. It's just randomly I will have these dreams, right? And when I recall back in the beginning of my journey, whenever I think I had already started working out. Yeah, I had already started working out a little bit. So I had my yoga mat, and I would do like sit-ups every morning, or little things, just little by little, right, in the beginning, before I got fully into it. And like, I remember I had this dream where, it was just a random dream one day. So I went to sleep one night, and I had this dream where this woman, I don't know who she was, I've never met this woman in my life, and she was on this yoga mat on the ground, and like she was like doing all these flips in front of me, like she was like flipping upside down, like doing all these freaking postures, like, but it looked cool, right? And so I was just looking at her like, what is she doing, you know? And it's funny because she wouldn't stop. She just kept doing it, and she was doing it in front of me. And so I was just sitting there watching her like, what is this lady doing? Like in my dream, I was like, why is she trying to impress me? That's what I was thinking in my dream, because it was like, why are you doing that? And so I thought she was trying to impress me. But she's doing all these movements. Like, she's like stretching her arms. She's bending over, and she's like doing all these cool postures on this yoga mat. And so when I woke up, I was just like, why did I just have that freaking dream? And who is that lady? You know? So then, that was in the beginning of my journey, right? And so I think a few months later, I came across, the ancient Egyptian teachings, right? And so, which was like the tree of life and everything like that, right? And so, like, the more I studied the lessons and everything, I came upon the yoga, the Egyptian yoga. And it shows you how, like, to be, like, to express, like, kind of like exercise yoga through different forms. So there's different forms that you can exercise yoga through, right? And so that's one of the forms, like the posture, the different postures, pretty much what I was dreaming about, right? And so when I was reading, like, researching everything whenever through the ancient Egyptian teachings, I was just like, that's crazy. I was like, maybe that's why I dreamt about that lady that was doing the postures in front of me, and I just didn't know why I was dreaming about it. But then later, when I came across the teachings, I was just like, maybe that's why I was dreaming about that. Like, maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing, is yoga. And then whenever I was, like, going through the tree of life, and everything was making sense to me, I got further into the teachings, and then they started talking about the Egyptian yoga. And so I started studying kind of like their postures and like what it means and like what it does for your body. So it's pretty much like opening up your chakras, to kind of like link you back to your original essence, pretty much. So that's what yoga, the definition of yoga is, it's a practice of mental and physical. Okay, I'll just read it to you guys, like my notes. So yoga is the practice of mental, physical, and spiritual disciplines, which lead to self-control and self-discovery by purifying the mind, body, and spirit to be able to discover the deeper spiritual essence which lies within every human being and object in the universe. So that's what the definition of yoga is, right? To kind of like get you to come back to your original essence, to your original self, so that way you can be one with yourself, right? And become one with everything, pretty much. So it's kind of like a practice to kind of like evolve, help you evolve. And that's like, it's pretty much like the Egyptian yoga at the same time, but they do state that like yoga was kind of like, it started in ancient Egypt because I guess they have like evidence on the obelisk and the temples and the iconographs and everything, it kind of shows like different postures and stuff, things of that sort. So it's kind of like evidence to them that their yoga is kind of like was established and created in ancient Egypt, right? And then on top of that, they have like the different religious systems that they went by to kind of teach them how to be able to spiritually evolve. And so they had different forms, like different techniques through their religion to be able to link you back to your original essence. And that's pretty much what they went by, which was like the Shatat Natir, which was the system that they used to be able to become one with everything, right? And be able to operate out of their higher consciousness. Um, so they said that it was like it started back in Egypt, which is probably true because, I did research a lot of stuff, so I'm sure it's true, but they're saying like that they feel like it started out in Egypt, So I don't know. But it's the goal of yoga is to unite or yoke your individual consciousness with universal or cosmic consciousness through the spiritual disciplines, through the ancient Egyptian yoga. But there's different forms. There's different forms of yoga, So in the ancient Egyptian disciplines, they do have different forms of yoga. So yoga is pretty much any activity that you engage into to be able to connect yourself with your higher self. So any activity that actually you engage yourself into to become your true self and gain back your true essence would be considered yoga, right? And so there's different forms of yoga. So we have the posture form where, they do different postures for their body movements, right? And then they have the main forms of yoga, I guess, that they have. The main forms of yoga disciplines. The first one is selfless actions. So practicing how to be a little selfless, take other people into consideration, not always worry about yourself all the time. That's a form of yoga. Serpent power is another one. Wisdom, devotional love, meditation is a form of yoga. And then the physical postures yoga, of course, that we were talking about. So all of those are different forms of yoga. So yoga isn't always just about like the positions and, the different postures. I mean, there's different forms of yoga, right? So anything that you practice to kind of like become one with God or become one with yourself too, like become one with your higher self, your godly consciousness, right, is a form of yoga. And so, yeah. But that's what I was dreaming about. That girl was like, why is this girl doing this? Like, she was like literally on it. Like, she would just do like flips. Like, she's doing all these flips and like, it was so cool. I was just like watching her, like, what is this lady doing? And like in my dream, I thought she was like going crazy because I was just like, this doesn't make sense. Like, why is she doing that? But that's a form of yoga. And so I think it was just like God's way, another way of showing me that I need to be doing yoga. I haven't even really done it, but like I work out, but like I do different workouts, but like I'm trying to get into yoga now a little bit more, So I think that might be a good thing for me to kind of like keep my chakras open, So, yeah, anything that kind of links you back to your original essence is considered yoga. They even like consider the Ankh yoga. I don't know. But the Ankh is like represented as like as above, so below. So it kind of like you're on Earth, but you are a part of, the cosmos too. So like as above, so below, whatever happens on Earth, like whatever happens in the sky can come down to Earth, vice versa. I don't know, but I think that's why they consider the Ankh a form of yoga, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. But I was just reading about it yesterday. I was like, this is crazy. So another thing too that I wrote down was, oh yeah, like I said before, Yoga is any process which helps one to achieve liberation or freedom from the bondage of human pain and ignorance. So it's pretty much any activity that helps you with your higher self. So they consider fasting a form of yoga too. Meditation, of course, because it's like you're going within yourself to become one with yourself, right? So that's a form of yoga. Controlling your breathing is a form of yoga too, which I mentioned the other day. And then as far as like studying the teachings of yoga, or different disciplines that actually help you become one with your true essence, that's considered a form of yoga because you're reflecting upon the teachings, right? And applying it to your life or incorporating it into your daily activities, right? So that's kind of like a religion in a way of the yoga. So it's like kind of like practicing it and incorporating it to your life and like gaining more knowledge about it, because it's kind of like exercising yourself, to the actual, it's kind of like helping you kind of like incorporate into your, like kind of like it's helping you I forgot the word I was going to use, but anyway, it's kind of like helping you like exercise the teachings so that way you can kind of apply it to your life pretty much. I don't know why it was hard for me to think of that freaking word. So that's another form. Prayer is another form of yoga because it's kind of like you're trying to become closer with God, your higher self too, as well. So exercising too. So all of these are forms of yoga. So yoga is just any exercise or activity that you engage into to actually promote your higher self pretty much. So I know I've actually been doing like little workouts, but I might have to, consider yoga. I think it might actually help a lot. I really do. But I don't know. It's crazy because they said Asar, which is Osiris, which is like the god of the underworld, right? They mentioned that, him and Aset, which is Isis, they would go to different, I think they said Osiris would travel to Asia and Europe and like give them, kind of trying to gain civilizations with their religion, and so they believe that's why, yoga was kind of like introduced in India, because of how Osiris would travel, out there and kind of like strengthen civilizations and everything with their religion, And so that's why they say like they believe that yoga was originated in ancient Egypt, and it just kind of like went on from there. And then, yeah, I don't know. But I might have to like consider yoga because I'm sure it might be great for me. Who knows? I know that, by me working on my higher self and trying to be a better version of myself, I know that helped me a lot with my confidence and stuff. So, and with me evolving like spiritually, mentally, and physically, so it worked for me. And I mean, I don't think I have any regrets at this point. So, yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to wish you guys a good weekend and all that good stuff. And I'm probably going to chill my booty out today. So, I'll actually come on next week to talk to you guys. So yeah, but I love you. Have a good weekend. Bye.